the subject will be there. Okay, so something like if we'll check it in any of the so what we are discussing about, we are discussing about any of the mail application where subject will be something like hi from Tapas in your mobile. I'm telling. When you click on this hi from Tapas, what you can show the description of that mail on top of that only. Are you able to understand? Why? Because you don't have very big space in your mobile. So what you should do, you should show the description on top of that. I mean, this is a subject, many subjects will be there. When you click on this, on top of that your description will come. Hey, how is life? I am doing good, I am looking for you, something like this. So description will be there, right? Now try to think, if your screen is big, you don't have a small screen, you are having big screen, then can you give space full to your subject only? It will not be looking good, right? So instead of this, what you can do is, we can divide our screen in different parts. One part will have subject, one part will have description. So if I click here, left part as your subject, so what will happen? The description should be displayed in your right hand side. So no need to pop up one more screen on top of that. Are you able to understand? So you can utilize the free spaces available in your screen. So now, similar to that, if you want to do those sort of implementation, you have to go for Fragment. Okay, so now what is Fragment? Fragment is nothing but part of your activity. Okay, or you can say portion of an activity. Portion of an activity. Let me get that link, because that is the place we can take that example. Okay, so the example which we are going to do, we will be following this particular link. You can take it from your learning document. So the example which we are going to prepare now, we will follow this link. Okay, so now tell me, Fragment is a part of your activity. Okay, can activity exist without Fragment? Yes, till now we have not studied Fragment, so we are able to do our work. So activity can exist without Fragment. Okay, so what we need to do, activity can exist okay. Now if I tell, can Fragment exist without activity? No. Why? Because Fragment is part of your activity. If activity itself is not there, Fragment is of no use, right? It cannot exist basically. Okay, so Fragment can't exist without an activity. So we must have one activity, and you can divide that activity into different fragments. Okay, so now, so that's what I was discussing here. The document which you are having, so this PPT I had downloaded from somewhere, so it is not that good. I'm in progress of preparing the PPT. Any of you, if you can prepare, it would be really helpful basically. So one small PPT for Fragment. So what we are talking about is tablet. What is tablet? Tablet is nothing but bigger than mobile. So tablet will have bigger display than mobile. So some sort of thing you can think over there. See here, this is your mobile. So when you click on the subject, what will happen? You will show your description on top of that. But if you are working with tablet, what you can do, instead of showing on top of this, what you can do, you can have something like this. Here will be your subject of your mail. Here will be your description in the same screen only, in the same screen. Completely is tablet. But here, because you don't have space, so what you have to do, you have to make it two. One will be your first screen. What is it? This is your second activity. This is your first activity. This is your second activity. But in your bigger tablet, what you can do, no need to have two activities. You can work with one activity, and you can divide this into two fragments. This is your first fragment, this is your second fragment, this is your second fragment, and you communicate between those two. Okay, now if you want to communicate between fragments, okay, so now because here, if you want to communicate from one activity to another activity, how to communicate? Through bundle, or you will pass intent, then you will pass that put extra, all those things. Okay, now similar to this, if you want to communicate from one fragment to another fragment, communicate from one fragment okay, so there are multiple ways to communicate, but one of the concept is listener concept is very famous. By listeners, we can communicate from one fragment to another fragment. We will see that actually. Okay, so we can create some sort of listeners, and we will see that example also maybe in my next class. So now let's try to brush up our knowledge. What is the activity life cycle? On create, then on start, then on resume, then on pause, then on stop, on destroy. So from on stop, if it is resuming, then on restart. Okay, so similar to this, your fragment will also have its own life cycle. What is the one? Like this is the one. Okay, this is your activity life cycle: on create, on start, on resume, on pause, on stop, on destroy. Now, because fragment is part of your activity, fragment life cycle will be very much aligned with your activity life cycle. If your activity will destroy, fragment will also destroy. Fragment will also destroy. If activity is created, fragment will also create. Right? Why? Because fragment is your portion of your activity. As soon as fragment is opening up, as soon as activity is opening, your fragment will also open. Got it, right? So what I am going to say is life cycle of fragment is very much aligned with activity. Okay, this is very typical question people will ask. Okay, so what is fragment life cycle? Then you have to talk about this. Okay. Now, this one we have already seen. These are your fragment activity life cycle. Okay, now let's discuss about fragment life cycle. Okay, so when your activity will do on create, that time fragment will do three things, three things, no, four things basically. Okay, what are those? Right side whatever I am mentioning, those are your fragment life cycle. Okay, so it will do on attach. Okay, then it will do on create view. Okay, it will do on create, On create will come before on create view. Okay, and last one is your on activity created. So right side is your fragment lexical. On attach, on create view, on activity created. Other life cycle will remain same as it is of your activity. Okay, so here what is it? On start. In fragment also will have on start. On resume. In fragment also will have on resume. On pause. Fragment also will be on pause. What I mean to say is, if your activity will become on pause, your fragment will also become on pause. That's what I mean to say. Okay, on stop. Okay, where is the last difference? It will be on destroy. Okay, so what will be the on destroy? You have to go in reverse way. On create, right? So what is here? On active, on create view. So here what you have to write? We have to write on destroy view. What is the opposite of create? Destroy. So on destroy view. Then what is the opposite of on create? On destroy. What is opposite of on attach? On detach. Detach is the opposite of attach, right? So we will have on detach. So this right side is your fragment life cycle, okay, and left side is your activity life cycle. You can mention that this is activity, and right side is your activity. Okay, yeah, now let's try to understand what is the use of on attach, on create view, all those stuff. Okay, so whenever you are doing on create of your activity, as fragment is part of your activity, right? So the fragment should be attached to the activity. Okay, so this on attach is the method which is called to attach your fragment to your activity. Got it, right? So this is the callback where you can get the activity reference also. Okay, so what is on attach? On attach is nothing but the callback where fragment gets attached with the activity. Now on create, what is on create? On create is same as your activity on create. Okay, the same. It is same as your activity on create. Okay, now on create view. So try to understand. There are two things which are getting created. Which is the one? Fragment. Another one is your activity. Okay. So now on attach will attach that view inside your activity. Okay, but attaching will take some time, right? Maybe some millisecond, you don't know. Got it, right? So after attaching, you want to inflate, so you are attaching, okay. So while attaching, you have to inflate the fragment inside your activity, right? You have to inflate, then only you can attach, right? So after on attach, which is the callbacks comes on create view, where what you do the inflation of your screen. I mean, which XML you want to inflate, you have to pass that particular XML, right? Suppose I have created r.layout.tapas layout. I want to create one fragment. Then that particular layout you have to inflate in your activity, right? So where it is done, it is done in your on create view. Okay. So what it does is it inflates the screen. So what is the use of on create view? It inflates the XML file into the activity portion. Okay, so the XML which you want to show to the user or should be inflated in this particular callback. Okay, now where we do find view by ID in activity, in which method we do find view by ID in activity? On create. Okay, but in fragment we do find view by activity in on create view, we don't do in on create. Okay, why? Because till on create your view is not inflated. Where you are inflating? You are inflating in on create view, right? So where you should do find view ID? This is the callback. Okay, you cannot do here on create में नहीं कर सकते. You cannot do this. Where you do in on create view. Okay. So this is the place. Here we do find view by ID. Okay, so typically the syntax looks like this. How I'll show you. We have this view. Suppose my variable name is view. Then what you do? You will have some sort of code, something like inflator dot inflate. Then here you have to pass some sort of context. Okay. Then you have to pass XML. Then some sort of data you have to pass over there. Root. Then if you want to do find, suppose I am having one small button over there. So how I'll get a button? Button equal to, you have to do view, because you want to get the view of fragment, then you will do inside button, right? So what you have to do, view dot find view by ID. Okay, r dot id dot then if you are having button like this. This is the way how you write inside your fragment, and you have to pass this as a button. So this is the typical code which okay. So on create view will do inflation of your XML into the portion wherever you want to do, and we do find view by ID in this callback on create view, and this is the sample code by which we do this find view by ID for fragment. Okay, now similar to this, as you, now one of those callback is called on activity created. So as the name is suggesting, what is on activity created? This callback will be called whenever your activity is fully created. Because see, you must have activity fully created, then only you can inflate, right? Are you able to understand? Otherwise, if your activity is not there, can you inflate? Nothing is there. Where you will inflate? So this callback will be called whenever your activity is fully created. Okay. So this callback will come when the parent activity. Parent activity means where you want to inflate your fragment, okay, is fully created. Okay. Now other things are exactly same. On start same, before going before starting, before resume, okay, going to start basically, then on resume, on pause, on stop, everything will be same. This is the one, okay, so it will go over there. So now what is this? On destroy view. What is on destroy view? Tell me. So there you have inflates, right, in your on create view, okay. So we remove the XML from activity portion. Okay, so if one XML is inflated, you have to remove that also, right? Okay, so this one will do some opposite of this one basically. And what is on destroy? On destroy is opposite of your on create, and it is same as your on activity on destroy, where we should do all those cleanup of memory, okay, we should do garbage collection, all those things. If you are having some service, you should stop that service. If you are having some broadcast receiver, what you should do unregistration. Okay, and here what is there? See, on attach. What is the opposite of it? On detach. So on attach is called to attach your activity with your fragment, okay. On detach means detaching the fragment from activity. Okay, so let's create one small fragment. Okay, so I'll create one fragment called right click new, okay, Java class. I'll just keep called first fragment with a super class fragment. Is it coming? Not coming. Okay, okay, finish. Okay, you want to create fragment, then how to do? Extends, then fragment. So it is best practice should go for support v4. What is the use of support v4? You should not do this, okay. If you do this, then what will happen? It will support the older version of your Android. If you do this, you can work with this, it's not a problem, but it will not support older version of Android. Something like version 4 is very old, right? So if you will do this, it will not support, okay. If you want to support it, then it's best practice should go for support v4. Okay, yeah. Now what all callbacks are there as we have discussed in your fragment? Tell me. On attach, see, automatically it is coming. On attach, take the activity one, don't take the context one. The context one we will see. Then what is the one? On attach, then on create view, okay. So on anything, I mean on create is also one of those, okay. Then on create view, see, are you able to see? It is there on create view, okay. Then just checking the notification for that. like where it is. Notification. No, it did not come. Okay. Now on create view, then what is the other one? Tell me. After that we have on activity created, right? So on activity created. Are you able to see? Here it is coming. Okay. Be very careful with the parameter which you are passing. Okay. You should not use any other parameter. On create should have been only one. On attach will have only one. Okay. Similar to this, what will be there? On start. See, on start. Then tell me on resume, then on pause, then on stop. Till on stop it is exactly same as your activity. Now in on destroy there will be some change. So what is the change? Tell me. On detach, on destroy view first. On destroy view. Okay. Then on destroy. And what is the last one? Tell me. On detach. So these are the callbacks which are there in your fragment. So which is the most important method in fragment? This on create view. In your activity, which is the most important method? On create, where you do set content view. Okay, you do find view by id in on create. Similarly, where we do the find view by id and all those content set content sort of thing, that means inflation of our screen in on create view. Okay, so this is the most important method in your fragment, where everything happens basically, most of the things. Other things are called not very frequently, but this is the one which gets called only once. Same as your on create. On create gets called only once, right? Here also on create view gets called only once. Okay, yeah, now let's try to create one very simple example which will help you out to understand. Okay, so I believe this is the same example which is mentioned over there or different. Let me check first. This one also we can do, otherwise one more example. Let me find one good example of fragment. Okay, just give me a couple of minutes. Okay, this is a good example. We can for this. This is good site, tech of video, tech of play. Okay, this one I'll mention this in our learning document also. Okay, so we are following this first link. So we'll just keep on following this to work with our fragment. So try to understand here what is done. First we will understand it, then we will do that in our project. Okay, so first thing what you have to do, you have to create. So there, see, this is the screen which I want to develop. Okay, this screen looks very simple, but if you want to divide this screen into two parts, then how will you tell me? You have to create how many fragments? Two fragments, because two parts means two fragments. Okay, so suppose this is one fragment. I mean, where first one is your edit text, second, what is this? Tell me, what is this? Progress bar or seek bar? This is a seek bar. What is the difference in progress bar and seek bar? Progress bar means something like 20, 30, 40. You cannot do A, don't go. I mean, you cannot hold A, don't go. Okay, but seek bar is the place which you can, user will have control. I mean, you can, something like in your music player. Okay, so suppose if you're listening a song, okay, so it is in 1 minute, you want to forward it to 5 minutes, then you can move that particular cursor and 5 minutes, then suddenly your song will start from 5 minutes. So this is seek bar by which you can do just drag and drop wherever you want. Okay, and what is the third one? This is your button. Very simple. There are three views. Okay, this is your first fragment. Okay, now we'll create this fragment. So how to do this? We have already done extends fragment. Okay, and automatically which method we should do inflation on create view. Here we do inflate of your method. Okay, and what is the layout you have to do? The layout which we have created XML. Okay, and container false. We will see that. Okay. Then we'll create the second fragment. What is second fragment? Second fragment is nothing but a small text view. That's all. So there are two fragments. First fragment, second fragment. Okay. So yeah. So second fragment also we'll do this second fragment and we'll do this inflation over there. Now both of those fragments you want to put it inside your activity, right? Okay, so this is the way how you do. This is your full activity where what you do, this is your first fragment, this is your second fragment. Okay, first fragment will be mapped with your name, will give you that particular class. Okay, tools.layout will inflate the layout which you want to inflate over there. Similar for the second fragment, I will have this fragment, this one, and we will layout. Okay, now my screen will look like this. This upper one is your first fragment, below one is your second fragment. Got it, right? So till this we'll do now, then we'll communicate from here to here. I mean, how we can communicate, we'll check it. Okay, so let's try to do till this, then we'll move ahead from here. Okay, so what is the first thing we want to do? We want to do the fragment. So we'll go here. I will create one XML layout. Okay, so I'll give the name called first fragment. What is the XML name? First fragment. Okay, yeah, so we have to make this aligned with the layout which we talked about. Okay, so which is this is the one, this is the skin we want to develop. Okay, so we'll develop it. Okay, so first one is your what you want, edit text. Okay, so we'll create this edit text. Okay, and you want to have some sort of hint over there. Okay, hint means what is hint? Hint means please enter text, some sort of hint, and I want to make my width as match parent. Okay, you can make it your linear layout, okay, which will be easier for the supporting purpose. Okay, yeah, now we have to give id also. What is the id? Edit text, any name it will be edit text. Below that, what is there? Seek bar. So seek bar, just use this seek, s should be capital. Seek bar, width I want to make it to match parent, height is wrap content, sorry, wrap content. Okay, and always linear layout will be supported with orientation vertical, because you want to come down, right? So vertical. Okay, here also we'll give one id at the top plus id, and you can see and what is the third one? This button, this one is done. This one is button, last is the button. Button, match parent, wrap content. In button you want to show the text, so text something like change it. Okay, change it. I want to give id. How to give an id? Added a plus id. Okay, button. So your screen should look like this. Okay, this is your edit text, this is your seek bar. You can seek it to wherever you want to. And what is the one? Third one. Okay, so we have developed this first fragment. I want to develop the second fragment. How will I develop? Similar to this, I will develop the second fragment, and in second fragment what will be there? Nothing, only one small text view. Okay, so we can remove everything. Okay, and we'll give the name called text view. Okay, and here we will not have hint, we can have one text only. Okay, you can have a default text. Okay, and I'll change this also. Text view, this will be your ID. Okay, this is not mandatory, you can remove this. The tool context which is there in your screen, here also you can remove. You can remove in your first fragment also. So you have developed first fragment, second one. So first you have developed the portion of it. Now what you have to do? You have to put it inside your activity, right? So we'll go to our main activity. Okay, and you want to put the first fragment. I'll remove it. Okay, depends if you want to go for linear layout or relative layout, according to you. Okay, so if you want to go for linear layout, then make it linear layout. Make your orientation as vertical. You want to inflate fragment, then one of the tags will be called fragment, we use here. Width match parent, height wrap content. You finish it. Then what is the one? Name. What is name? Name is nothing but first fragment. Okay, because you want to inflate first fragment here. Similarly, what is the other name? Tools dot layout. Okay, why we use layout? To inflate your layout. Which is the layout you want to inflate? At the rate of layout first fragment you want to inflate. So we'll use this. Okay. Below that, what you want to have? You want to have second fragment. Let's try to give one ID to this. How to give an ID? Add a plus ID. First fragment. What is this? Second fragment. Okay, and here what will be the at the rate of? Tell me. This will be your second layout. The layout which we are importing. Same thing only. And instead of first fragment, we have to create one more fragment called second fragment as a Java class. So we'll go here and create one more class called same to first fragment. We have to create one fragment class called second fragment. Second fragment, and in your main screen also we'll change it to second fragment. Okay, if you want to have one borderline between those two fragments, you can have one view as your borderline. You make it match parent wrap content. Wrap content will not be good idea. You can make something like maybe 3 dp height of your view. You can have color also. What is the color you want to have? Background color. Okay, so background color. Okay, so if you want to have maybe red color or maybe green color, I want to have my border means between first fragment second fragment you want to have some sort of line. Okay, so how to do? You can create your green line. So RGB. Okay, let's go to design. Are you able to see? Now our design is done. Are you able to see? This upper one is your first fragment, this below one is your second fragment. So one activity is divided into two fragments. Upper one is your first fragment, below one is your second fragment. This is mixture of both of those. This is your first fragment, this is your first fragment where you are having read text, sigbar and button, and in second fragment you are having text view, and both of those are inflated inside your one activity. Okay, what is that? Activity main. Activity main is the one. So part 1 we have done. Part 1 is inflation of both of those. Which one? Second fragment you have to create. You have to create. Yes, same as first fragment. Now you have to create one second fragment. Copy paste and give the name second fragment. You are having only first fragment, right? You have to create this also. So see here how will you do? Suppose I did not have this second fragment. Okay, I will delete it. Suppose it is deleted. See, it is not there. Okay, sorry. Okay, I don't have this second fragment. What you do? Just copy, paste, and just give the name called second fragment. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to inflate that screen, right? So how will you inflate that screen? Here is the place. Okay, so on create view as you have discussed. Okay, so you want to inflate the screen, so how will you do the inflation? View equal to, okay, what you do, inflator dot inflate. What is the method name? Inflate is your method name which we use here. Okay, what is the three thing it is asking? It is asking for layout resource, then root, and what is the last one? Your attached to root. Okay, so for time being, don't worry, just pass the first one. So what you pass? R dot layout dot first fragment. Which is the one? First fragment. First fragment is your layout. Okay, now what is the second one? You need root, right? So you can choose your container as your root, the container which is coming from here, from your overridden method. Okay, and what is the third one? False. Don't worry about this, I'll discuss about this after some time. What is this attached to root? This is false about. You have to pass three things: first fragment, container, and false, and you return this view from here, from on-create view. For your, sorry, this is for second fragment, right? So here I have to make it to second fragment. Okay, similar to this you have to do in your first fragment. On create view, go over there and make it to your first fragment. Okay, so now what happened? Inflation is done. Inflation of the, now what is left? Communication between your first fragment to second fragment. Okay, if you run this code, it should look like that only. Let's run it. Movision. Okay, so let it be running, then you will find out. So what should come now? It should come both the fragments, okay, with green border in between. Just give me 1 minute. I mean, let it be running. It will take some time. Is it coming? Coming. Huh? What is that? Which one? View. This one? Show me. Okay. So now what we do, if I'll do some change here, this sig bar, okay, or if I'll do some change here and change it, then it should change here also. That is the requirement. I mean, first fragment will talk to second fragment. Okay. Show me what is the problem. Okay. We'll finish here only. Okay. This one.